Thanks for visiting our channel again. Greetings, Jessi, a name that represents country music, love, devotion, and perseverance. That is Jessi Colter. A tale of passion, sacrifice, and unwavering resolve lurks behind the brilliant surface of the outlaw country movement. Jessi was more than just a symbol of the outlaw movement or Waylon Jennings' shadow. She was the sole female performer on Wanted, The Outlaws, the first platinum-certified country music album ever. She defied all expectations of country music with her own blend of talent and independence. The life of Jessi Colter is forever remembered through her timeless anthems like I'm Not Lisa, as well as through her selfless acts of sacrifice and unrelenting fights for equality. From her humble beginnings as a little girl playing the piano in an Arizona church, Jessi rose above all odds to become a legendary symbol of love and music. Can you tell me the truth about Jessi Colter's life? Now, what is her way of life? To what extent do you keep in mind and value the experiences that shaped her identity? If that's the case, then you're going to love today's film as we go on an emotional journey to discover Jessi Colter's realities. Miriam Johnson, Jessi Colter's mother, was born on May 25, 1943, in Phoenix, Arizona, into a family that exemplified an unusual combination of enthusiasm and discipline. The mining engineer father inculcated a sense of logic and strength in his daughter, while the preacher mother served as an example of faith and perseverance. Jessi developed a strong sense of discipline and an unwavering love for the arts as a result of her upbringing. Music and faith were integral parts of Jessi's upbringing. She was greatly motivated by her mother, a tuberculosis survivor whose faith helped her overcome the disease. At the revival tent gatherings that her mother arranged, Jessi started playing the piano and singing gospel songs with sincere chord progressions when she was only 5 years old. Her mother had faith that Jessi would follow her musical calling, but she refrained from forcing her daughter's artistic pursuits and instead let her talent blossom uninhibitedly. Jessi Colter had a free and inquisitive spirit despite her rigorous upbringing. She gave in to the stage's charms as a teenager. Jessi took a daring step toward her artistic path when she started slipping out of her house at the age of 15 to play at neighborhood pubs. Here, on these small stages, she initially felt the rush that comes from sharing her music with an audience. Jessi Colter wasn't simply an exceptionally talented and religious youngster. Her independence and dogged determination to overcome obstacles also made her stand out. Despite Jessi Colter's early discovery of her love for music, the road to transforming her hobby into a profession was far from smooth. Jessi received immediate acclaim for her unique style and talent after she began performing late at night in Phoenix clubs. When she was 16 years old, she embarked on a new chapter of her life as a supporting vocalist for the legendary rock guitarist Dwayne "The Rock" Eddy. Both on stage and off, Jessi won over Eddy with her untamed energy and irresistible charm, ultimately becoming his first wife. Jessi relocated to Los Angeles after her 1962 marriage to Dwayne Eddy and started a successful music career as Miriam Eddy. At this venue, she rose to prominence as a performer and songwriter, earning the respect of industry heavyweights like Don Gibson, Dottie West, and Nancy Sinatra. Jessi wanted nothing more than to strike out on her own as a performer, even if she was gaining fame as a songwriter. Despite Eddy's encouragement, Jessi's first 2 singles were commercial flops. Because of this setback, Jessi had to temporarily shelve her singing dreams and concentrate on being there for her husband while he was on tour. But she didn't only have a series of busts while she was in Los Angeles. It turned out to be a time of coming into her own as a musician and learning about herself. Jessi and Eddy's marriage began to fall apart in the late 1960s. After they split up in 1968, Jessi went back to Phoenix to figure out who she was. A glimmer of hope emerged from the depths of despair at a moment when it looked like the odds were stacked against her. She crossed paths with Waylon Jennings, a star on the rise in the country music industry who was helping to shape the new outlaw country subgenre. Jennings saw Jessi's special ability right away and became her closest musical and lifelong companion. After receiving encouragement from Jennings, Jessi decided to take the stage name Jessi Colter after her famous Wild West train robber ancestor and obtained a recording contract with RCA Records. Jennings and Chet Atkins co-produced her 1970 debut album, A Country Star Is Born. Despite the album's lack of commercial success, it was a pivotal moment in Jessi's career that set the stage for her subsequent triumphs. With the exception of 1970's Suspicious Minds, Jessi released music under her own name and also worked with Jennings on other duets. Both Jessi and Jennings' position as a country music power couple and her independence as an artist were cemented by their early hits. The ups and downs of Jessi Colter's early career tested her mettle, but she emerged stronger and more determined than ever. From her humble beginnings as a church pianist to her eventual rise to stardom on bigger stages, Jessi seemed destined for stardom in the years to come. Despite a rocky beginning, Jessi Colter went on to do great things and solidify her place in country music. Capitol Records released her 1975 single, I'm Not Lisa, which would go on to define her career. In a short amount of time, the song became a cultural sensation after dominating the charts and peaking at #1 on both the Billboard Country chart and the Hot 100 Pop chart. A hit it certainly wasn't. It was a heartbreaking story of loneliness, sorrow, and love. The melody and words were simple yet poignant, and Jessi's voice carved out each syllable as if reliving a personal tragedy. Both the song's commercial success and its capacity to resonate with listeners, particularly those who had been through a painful breakup, contributed to I'm Not Lisa's legendary status. The song became a musical classic because of the sincere sincerity and relatability that made it work across genres. Albums like I'm Jessi Colter helped solidify Jessi's position as a talented artist that year. Due to its exceptional sales, the album was certified gold and swiftly rose to the top of several charts, including the Cashbox Top Country Albums chart, the Billboard Country Albums chart, and the #4 spot. Many love Jessi's songs because of her narrative abilities and the catchy tunes she wrote, such as What Happened to Blue Eyes and You Ain't Never Been Loved. Her music was more than simply music. It was an expression of her innermost feelings, with each song serving as a personal letter that drew the audience into her world of conflicting emotions. With the release of Wanted, The Outlaws in 1976, Jessi further cemented her title as the first country album ever to attain platinum certification. Jessi, being the sole female performer among the legendary Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Tom Paul Glaser, refused to blend in. In their duet, Suspicious Minds, she and Jennings showcased their respective strengths, Jennings's daring, rebellious flair, and her own delicate, expressive voice. This song had deeper meaning. It was an intense, multi-layered, and utterly authentic piece of love. Albums like 1970's SIX's Jessi and 1981's Gold Certified Leather and Lace, a collaboration with Waylon Jennings, kept Jessi's career thriving. Hits such as The Wild Side of Life and Storms Never Last were included in Leather and Lace. The strength and vulnerability of Jessi are on full display in Storms Never Last. It wasn't just music. It was a message of hope and encouragement to Jennings and herself, reminding them that no matter how dark the night, they can weather the storm with faith and optimism. In addition to her commercial success, Jessi's I'm Not Lisa garnered critical praise and nominations for Grammy and CMA, further establishing her impact in the music industry. She broke new ground as a trailblazing female artist in country music with her own sound, which fused the mellowness of gospel with the defiant vigor of the outlaw country movement. But Jessi's success wasn't defined by her position on the charts or the accolades she received. She became an idol due to her genuine musical talent, her capacity to strike an emotional chord, and her inspiring life narrative. From the gentle melodies of I'm Not Lisa to the defiant tenacity of Wanted, The Outlaws, Jessi demonstrated that she was more than simply a member of the outlaw country movement. In essence, she was it. Jessi Colter's personal life, like her business, is a symphony of love, sacrifice, and endurance, with its ups and downs. Standing strong behind the scenes was a Jessi who put her family first, even if it meant putting her career on hiatus. Waylon Jennings was in the midst of his lowest point when they crossed paths in 1969. Jessi saved me, Jennings confessed. Almost at my lowest point was when I encountered Jessi. The finest thing that ever happened to me, even though I weighed 138 pounds and was set to self-destruct, was meeting Jessi. She was the one who not only shone a light into his life, but also became his rock, lifting him out of his sorrow. Their hasty and intense love story ended with a marriage in October 1969. But there were also times of joy in their relationship as they battled addiction, bad health, and the unrelenting demands of the music business. While they were newlyweds, Jessi kept up her impressive profession. Still, she bravely left her job in the early 1980s to take care of Jennings. For Jessi, these were some of the hardest years of her life. The combination of Jennings's carefree lifestyle and his struggle with cocaine addiction was devastating to his health. Throughout those difficult times, Jessi stood strong as a support to her family. With unfaltering affection, she took care of their finances, was there emotionally, and helped him through innumerable problems. Despite the many obstacles, Jessi persevered in her mission to help Jennings beat his addiction. In 1984, Jennings triumphed over his addiction with her unwavering support and affection. This momentous occasion not only changed his life, but also deepened their connection. There was more to Jessi's selflessness than that. All she could think about during that time was her family. Therefore, she had to put her career on hold, missing out on some great possibilities. Love was only one aspect of Jessi and Jennings' relationship. They also collaborated creatively. Not only were duets like Storms Never Last and Suspicious Minds financial successes, but they also showcased their deep affinity with one another. Beyond simple melody, these songs conveyed deeper meaning. Together, they shared tales of love and hardship. Their love, however, had many flaws. The pair came close to splitting up in the early 1980s as a result of the addiction struggles and other difficulties they faced as performers. Their decision to be together demonstrates that love encompasses more than just tender moments. It also requires the ability to forgive, selflessness, and triumphing over hardship in unity. Waylon Albright Shooter Jennings, Jessi and Jennings's only son, was born in 1979. He would continue his parents' musical career. Jessi, a dedicated mother, worked tirelessly to support her family and advance in her profession. Not only did she teach Shooter the importance of sacrifice and loyalty, but she also made him love music. Jessi endured the worst loss of her life in 2002 when Jennings died away, but she refused to let herself be crushed by sorrow. Instead, she kept on living and making art. During those trying times, her unshakable faith in God got her through. Jessi detailed her romance with Jennings and how her faith served as a rock during their ordeal in her autobiography, An Outlaw and a Lady. In her private life, Jessi Colter embodies the virtue of consistency, selfless devotion, and unwavering affection. Not only is she an accomplished artist, but she is also a formidable lady who has prioritized her loved ones above all else. Jessi Colter's life was utterly devastated when Waylon Jennings passed away in 2002 after she had devoted herself to her family and taken care of him for so long. Jessi could have wallowed in his sorrow, but he got back up and went back to music. Not to get back to where she once was, but to have a deeper, more meaningful connection with her fans. As much as it was a means of self-expression, music soothed Jessi's broken spirit. Jessi made her long-awaited return in 2006 with the publication of her album Out of the Ashes, her first album in almost 20 years. An ode to an artist who had risen from the ashes after suffering unimaginable tragedy. The title of the album was an audacious proclamation of her rebirth. With its heartfelt lyrics about life's ups and downs, the album was well received by critics. The weight of her experiences was conveyed by Jessi's voice, which was no longer youthful but had a rich meditative depth. In each song, Jessi unveiled her path to acceptance and resilience. The confessional quality of the music conveyed both her grief and her hope. That wasn't all Jessi did. Her one-of-a-kind musical endeavor, the Psalms, which set her favorite psalm text to melody, was released in 2017. This CD was a reflection of her profound faith, which had been her compass since she was a little girl, and a constant reminder that her songs spoke to people's hearts and morals. An Outlaw and a Lady, her autobiography detailing her life, loves, and faith, was released that very year, that she used to overcome obstacles in her life. In addition to detailing her intense and turbulent love affair with Jennings, the memoir provided a deep look into her struggles, weaknesses, and the inner fortitude that helped her overcome them. Hits like I'm Not Lisa and Suspicious Minds are just the beginning of Jessi Colter's illustrious career. She ushered forth a new era for female country musicians. Is the sole female performer on the seminal record Wanted. Jessi demonstrated that she was more than a symbol, that she was a strong, capable, and fearless individual. During her time among the Outlaws, she poured her heart and soul into every note and word she sang, sharing her triumphs and tragedies as well as her resolute will. When it came to the outlaw country movement, Jessi was a defining figure. As the very essence of it, and as an innovator who opened doors for other women artists to fearlessly challenge the status quo in a traditionally male-dominated field. People still enjoy Jessi's songs and her accomplishments, even though the years have dulled the radiance of her prime. She personifies tenacity and an indefatigable energy that is always finding new ways to succeed. The capacity to move audiences and serve as a constant reminder that genuine music can transcend generational divides is the true measure of her legacy, beyond even her discography and accolades. The renaissance of Jessi Colter went beyond just a musical comeback. It validated her value to herself. She bravely shared her emotional journey with the world, and her impact goes beyond country music. Her fans will always hold her name in high regard. Jessi Colter is a shining example of musical genius and the tenacity of a spirit that never stops learning, even at the age of 80. Even though Jessi isn't as active as she was in her younger years, she still finds joy and fulfillment in music, which has been her anchor through thick and thin. Even though her current priorities are faith, family, and tranquility, she continues to motivate people with her stories and example of life. Over the years following the 2017 releases of Psalms and An Outlaw and a Lady, her memoirs, Jessi progressively removed herself from the limelight, prioritizing her family and personal life. She now calls Arizona her birthplace, home, where she can bask in the sun and think about her childhood all over again. Here, in this peaceful place, Jessi discovers peace and a renewed affinity with the spiritual principles that molded her upbringing. Faith continues to play a significant role in Jessi's life, enabling her to gracefully and powerfully face the difficulties of age. Jessi and her son Shooter Jennings are very close, and Shooter is carrying on the family music. In addition to his career as a country music performer, Shooter frequently credits his mother as an influence. Anyone who has ever seen Shooter play or heard him talk about Jessi in an interview can tell that he has the utmost reverence for the woman who gave her life for their family and the music business. The music world still holds Jessi in high esteem, even if she doesn't put out albums or perform live very often. A lot of newer musicians look up to Jessi, especially country music's female artists. Her courage, honesty, and skill continue to motivate me, demonstrating that immutable principles endure. Jessi Colter is free of the stresses of stardom and prosperity now that she is in her golden years. But she finds more delight in life's little pleasures, like spending time with her loved ones, playing the piano by herself, and receiving touching emails from those who remember and love her music. The past and the present coexist in perfect harmony in her life at the moment. Regarding what she has been through and hopes to convey in the future, it is impossible not to be impressed with the resilience and fortitude shown by Jessi Colter as she went from being a small girl playing the piano in a church to being a symbol of the outlaw country movement, a loving wife, and a groundbreaking artist. Jessi exudes the grace of a lady who has devoted her life to her family, her art, and her love, even though her present life is unassuming. Time and the passage of years may change many things, but her music and her true love will never be forgotten. Living her life in accordance with her deeply held principles, Jessi Colter has never wavered. Jessi, in the calm of her current life, is an eternal wellspring of wisdom for everyone who have loved her. This woman's tale is a powerful reminder that we can conquer any obstacle in life by clinging to our faith and loving one another. Great storms do pass, and with them comes light and hope, as Jessi once sang in Storms Never Last. Do you find Jessi Colter's inspirational story to be uplifting? Did her moving life story or her enduring music make an impression on you? Feel free to provide your opinions in the space provided. Click like and subscribe if you want to keep reading about the lives of the heroes you look up to. Let us do what we can to ensure that Jessi Colter's music will always be remembered and loved. Looking forward to seeing you in our upcoming video.